Please do not try this at home. Today, we will test the strength of truck jacks. All of them will have a lifting capacity of 5 tons. One of the cheapest Chinese jacks with the cool name, "This is Sparta!" Its cost is $25. Included with it is such a folding power lever. This lever looks a little flimsy. Idle, not under load, this jack works fine. To adjust the height of the pickup, there's even such an unscrewing threaded part. The second test subject, similar in design and principle of operation, is a Soviet-made hydraulic jack. I bought it at a flea market for less than $13. Yes, $13. It is half the price of the Chinese. It comes complete with such an impressive power lever. By the way, one swing, the jack rod is pushed to a lower height compared to the Chinese one. So, it will be easier to lift this jack. Considering that this jack is already several decades old, it is also known in what condition it is, but it seems like a working one. Although visually, there is a lot of noticeable damage on it, even on the responsible stem part. And also, I managed to find such a 5-ton mechanical Soviet dinosaur at a flea market. Of course, in its design and principle of operation, it is radically different from the first two, but nevertheless, its load capacity is similar. I managed to buy this jack for $25 at the cost of a new Chinese one. Unfortunately, I couldn't find such a jack in my city, so I had to buy it online at a flea market. And I was slightly deceived. Unfortunately, this upper screw is screwed into the middle part only by half. Since it has a slight bend, I tried to level it a little with the help of a press. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. And there's a slight thread damage on the middle threaded part. But I'm sure that the damage will not affect the strength of the jack. Therefore, the upper threaded part of the bend together, I just sawed it in half. Since this jack is quite high, it would not fit under hydraulic press. For clarity, let's compare all these 3 jacks. By the way, the Chinese jack, unlike the Soviet hydraulic one, has a trapezoid-shaped thread, just like the Soviet mechanical jack. The diameter of the threaded part is almost 20 millimeters. On the Soviet hydraulic, almost 4 millimeters more. And on the Soviet mechanical, 15 millimeters more. I think this mechanical jack will have a huge margin of safety. Let's see how different the weight of these jacks is before the test. The Chinese will weigh 3 kilograms. The Soviet hydraulic is twice as big. And the Soviet mechanical jack weighs 13 kilograms, 4 times more than the Chinese. Today, we will not simply stupidly destroy the jacks with the hydraulic press, but we would try to accurately determine their maximum load capacity. And then, of course, everything as you like, we will destroy them. So, the first in line is the Chinese. The essence of our test is that we will not press the jack as usual, but we will press the jack on the press. A very accurate strange gouge for 20 tons is installed on the press. And now we will see how far these jacks will be able to develop their nominal force of 5 tons. I have installed the press in such a position that the jack's rods are half extended. The Chinese barely managed to gain an effort of 2 tons. The reason is the very short lever that was included. It is extremely inconvenient for this swing. Therefore, we will have to borrow the lever from the Soviet one. It's more interesting to work with this lever. The effort of 5 tons on the Chinese was a bit difficult to develop. In principle, it keeps the state loaded. So, now it's the turn of the Soviet hydraulic jack. On the Soviet jack, it was absolutely no problem to develop its nominal effort. But then I noticed it does not hold its rated load. But the reason it turned out to be the bano was that the bypass valve was not twisted to the end. As soon as I twisted it, I made sure that the jack perfectly hold its rated load. Now, it's the turn of the Soviet mechanical monster. Well, I can say that it is extremely inconvenient for them to work. The fact is that here I work in a limited space. On one hand, I have a camera, and on the other, lighting. And it is extremely convenient for me to make such wide swings. And also, I see that there's a little skewed and trying to jump out of form under the press. But here, the reason is that there is a little crooked, as I said earlier. Now, let's move on to the next test. With the help of a press through a load cell, we press on the jack and see what load it will give up. The Chinese jack gave up under load, a little more than 13 tons. In principle, this is a very good result. It has withstood a load exceeding its normal load capacity by more than 2 times, and apparently it died. Now it does not develop its efforts. What kind of load will the Soviet hydraulic jack withstand? The Soviet jack is guaranteed to withstand a load of 20 tons. Most likely, it would also withstand a much larger load. But unfortunately, our strain gauge is designed for only 20 tons. If we develop our efforts further, we will simply break the strain gauge. After exposure to a 20-ton load, the jack is in working condition. Will a 20-ton screw jack withstand? "20 tons withstood, but with a load of just over 21 tons, something specifically clicked in it. And now, as I promised, with the help of 500-ton hydraulic press, we will simply destroy all these jacks. And at the same time, we would check the maximum load to their hulls can withstand and what will be the nature of the destruction of the jack. The maximum load with the destruction of the body of the Chinese jack was 110 tons. Yes, probably under warranty it would not be accepted. The jack, by the way, warmed up decently during deformation. Its temperature is more than 30 degrees. Although the room temperature is less than 14. Well, now it's the turn of the Soviet hydraulic jack. The Soviet jack lost its work capacity with the load of 30 tons. Unfortunately, he started popping out from under the press. Now we will correct it and continue the experiment. The maximum load at which the body of the Soviet Jack surrendered was 170 tons. And from this angle, you can clearly see how the Jack housing exploded. In this iron porridge, you can see the thickness of the wall of the power cylinder of the Jack. And this is the unscrewing screw part. Now, we will try to consider in more detail the parts of the power cylinder of the Jack. This protruding piece is a fragment from the cylinder, and it has a very impressive thickness compared to the thickness of the cylinders in the Chinese Jack. I wonder what result the Soviet mechanical screw will show us. The maximum load was 80 tons. Is it a lot or a little? But considering that this is nominal value is 5 tons, then 80 tons I think is a lot. It was this one, the middle threaded part, that gave up. She turned out to be the weakest link of this Jack. In fact, it is a pipe, the outside and the inside of which is threaded. And the thickness of the walls of this pipe is not so impressive. It is comparable to the thickness of a coil. The upper threaded part was also slightly deformed. From the bottom, it looks like we have a massive cast iron bed left alive. But, by the way, you can still see that the nut is cracked in several places. Let's see what kind of load this massive frame resembling a bell will withstand. The bell collapsed at a load of 210 tons. Write in the comments which Jack in your opinion won the test. Which Jack would you choose from these three? Personally, I like the Soviet hydraulic Jack the most.